Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome back to What Happens in the Dusk, our Blades in the Dark actual play. So, where we last left off was a somewhat ill-fated goat race, where everything that could go wrong did go wrong, but we made the best out of it, and the Nameless came in second. Probably a very distant second, but it's not like anybody else could compete with us. We're gonna pick up not too long after with Ankh. After such a stressful score as that was, how does Ankh take the edge off?
This is probably... So, last session ended with Ankh getting intoxicated with a bunch of the other grinders, the other carriage drivers, and last we saw him, he was walking home after encountering a creepy child. And I think he doesn't even go home. I think what he does is he goes back to Dunslow, to where his home is. But Ankh used to be a gondolier. He's since been laid off, but the habit still hasn't kicked. And his vice is taking the night watch. Currently, he's not in any position to do so, but that doesn't mean he'll not try. So he goes over to where he's hidden away his little dingy little gondola, and he just goes around and waits for anyone to need his assistance, as the gondoliers are the soothsayers and medicine men of especially this rundown part of Dustfall.
As you begin to make your way down, well, in Dunslow there's really only one river, and that's Dusk River. As you begin to make your way down, you do eventually have somebody waving you down. It appears to be a young Skovlander woman, probably in her 20s. And while it isn't unusual for somebody to need a gondolier, as there are a couple of docks in Dunslow, she's not waiting at one of the docks. She is more waiting at one of the side banks and is attempting to wave you down.
I go over there and give her my best reassuring smile, which is a little exaggerated in my current state, and say, "Aha! So what may I do for you this fine evening? Whatever time it is, it's always night. It doesn't really matter."
She approaches and actually gets on your boat.
Where are we going?
Crowsfoot, if you would please.
As I push off and start making my way towards Crowsfoot, I engage in the common inane banter, has she lived in Dustfall this whole time?
Yes. What about you? She has a somewhat of that smile that is very common amongst people that feel like they know more than you.
Okay. a little bit of cheer has gone, but only a little bit. Mm, responds with, well, I wasn't born here, but I've been here since I was a small boy, so it might as well be my home. Permanent home, that is. Are you a woman of permanence? Or are you a
Permanence.
wanderer?
I mean, I have my place of domicile here in Duskfall, and I have no plans on moving.
Very well.
However, with the transient nature of this particular world, who's to say? Isn't that right, Ankh?
Indeed. And it seems I'm now at a disadvantage.
That smile crosses her face again.
May I ask?
You probably haven't heard my name, but it's Karinna. Technical difficulties, it seems like. On that note... Oh.
I'm so sorry, technical difficulties. Headphones cut out.
Fair enough. But yes, my name is Karinna.
Arena. What a lovely name. And after this, I think if she isn't going to say anything more, I just let it fall into silence. Renewed smile. No, we're not done yet.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I start to turn back to just start rowing again. I start to turn away from her.
Well, we're not going to get into what I do for a living. However, what we can do is get into why I flagged you down. It wasn't just for passage into Crow's Foot. I came to you because I was hired for a specific job. This job involved your name, involved the name of an alias, I should say, of somebody by the Pale Lady, a Nathan Esting, and a Brolin Zephyr.
So as I go to do another row on the downward motion, my hand slips off the oar and just gets placed gently on the hilt of a gun I have next to me. I was like, oh, that's quite a lot of names.
As she notices your movement and she immediately, raises her hands up. I don't mean you any harm before you get that thought. It's kind of why I'm here, is because I don't mean you harm. How familiar are you with those goat races that you just partook in?
I know they're painful for one thing, but I know that assumedly it's a gambit of some kind. Most gambling rings they're owned by someone. I assume that's who you're hired by, that someone.
Exactly. Now, I am here because of, as I stated, the job I was hired to do. I guess at this point we have to get into what I was hired to do for you to completely understand why I'm here. I am a cleaner of sorts. I make crime scenes go away. So you can probably start to get an idea of why I'm here. The group, the organization that hired me, is going to hit you guys because of that incident. Now, why would I ever risk myself to go against my employer?
That is my thought, yes.
Cleaning up murders, beatdowns, smash and grabs. Let's just say it's not a comfortable line of work. You've been making some splashes, that group of yours. It seems your style of crime, I would say a lot less blood and guts. Should my services start to tend in that direction, that is preferable to me. I honestly, the scent and smell of bowels that have been extricated from said body is a bit much for me. I'm sure you can understand that.
Yes. The body is quite a disgusting thing once we get down to the nitty-gritty. I can understand not wanting to deal with decaying ones more than one has to.
And that is also part of why I'm glad you put down your oar. This was also somewhat of a delaying tactic. I need you to be able to see what happened, but I obviously did not want you to end up there too soon. And with that, we're gonna switch away. We're gonna move over to a little hovel, as it were, under a bridge. Pale lady. How do you start this fine day? Well, day.
By making a cup of tea for me and for the person living with me. He gets a little bit vexed if I didn't prepare something for her, even if she can't really drink it.
Just a very standard mushroom tea. Not very palpable. Most things in Duskfall aren't. That being said, however, once the tea is done, places are set, I'm guessing. A nice morning tea is had. Is there any conversation to be had? Or is the doll not the conversationalist type?
It depends on a lot of things, her mood, what happened. I obviously told her what all about the race. But I think today I'm just going to ask all of the ghosts that not live, but you know what I mean, around the house, if anyone has any need for someone like me.
Alright, why don't you give me a roll? Because I do see here you don't have ghost minds, so you're not naturally just aware of the presence. So I will need an action roll here.
Okay. Okay. So it's gonna be an action roll.
Okay, that works for me.
Hmm.
Any of the spirits in the area, they don't reach out to you. Or at least that's what you think. Until you start hearing a scratching sound outside of your house, almost like something is being drug against the outside of the wall.
I'll go take a look. Maybe with something pointy or heavy. You never know. There are some people that like to dig around and go where they're not supposed to be.
As you make your way out and around, the most unexpected sight. It seems like you may have been followed home. As this very large Accrusion goat is rubbing its horns against the side of your house, as if trying to sharpen them.
What are you doing here, you little thing? I'm not sure I have anything good to it, but I can figure it out. And I'm just going to cut some grass and offer it to Eugene.
It's less grass and more, I think the term is crabgrass. Really like spiny, nasty type of grass. It kind of hurts when you touch it, to a point. Eugene takes it pretty greedily. You may have a couple of nicks on your finger from his teeth. This moment is punctuated by by somebody shouting from the bridge above, "Hey, does somebody actually live down there?"
Yeah. Can I help you with something?
Yes. Let me find a way down, and each point of his speech, of the person's speech, is very clearly they're looking for a way down. After a couple of moments, probably a minute or two, they find their way down. It's a boy, probably no older than mid to late teens. I have a message from you, and he begins to dig through his bag and produces a small strip of paper. I was told to deliver this to you.
Thank you.
And, well, other messages to get to. He's already taking a wide way around, trying to avoid the goat, who is Eugene is quite very much bristling and looks like he wants to take a bite out of this young boy. But hasn't.
Be careful.
Yes, goats tend to be a little bit ornery, and this one looks to be more ornery than usual.
Yes, I wouldn't get too closer if I was you. But thank you anyway, and have a good day.
He gets the message over to you and barely avoids getting bit by Eugene. He kind of has to do a hop back as soon as he hands it to you, and he makes haste. He's not running, but he is moving with a deliberate, quickened pace.
I'm just going to say to Eugene, if I find I can find a way to make you cooperate, I think you would be great to guard the house. And I'm just gonna be a little further from the goat to be sure he can't snatch it and read the note.
The note is... The note basically reads, make your way to Crow's Foot. Take the long way. Take your time getting there. Do not rush. And it's signed by a single initial. A K.
K?
K.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you make your way to Crow's Foot as the letter states, or do you ignore the letter?
Well, it's quite intriguing. I'm not taking the risk to attach Eugene to the house. I think it will do more harm than good. I'm just going to pop my head inside and tell Violet I'm leaving. Yeah, just go to Crossfoot, like I would normally, and be little bit more careful.
All right. As your trip to Crow's Foot begins, we're going to move over to Brolin. After the goat race, where has Brolin found himself?
Likely back in the small, I mean, calling it a quarter is probably massively overstating how big it is, but a sort of Taisharesi contingents between Six Towers and Night Market.
Staying with friends, family, or something other there?
I know who you're referring to. Likely, probably kind of catching up with the friends.
So, tell us a little. I'm assuming this is not your sly friend.
No, this is
Another Taicharosi?
Yeah, absolutely. He's the guy that you want, who's very good at threatening people, but hates doing it. He's just absolutely massive, like heavy set, but he's gentle giant, leech, and sort of quite a blunt face and two sort of round-like horns that curl under his jaw.
So, Brolin, what have you been up to lately?
Not much, to be honest. More playing things behind the scenes.
That's gotta be a little frustrating for you.
Yeah. I get by. I hear the stories.
Stories can be interesting, but I mean, there is something to be said about making your own story.
Oh, absolutely. Why? You onto something?
I mean, I hear things now and again. There's been an increase in some... let's see. How did that person put it? Forgeries, as it were. Apparently it's got the collectors in the city in a tizzy.
Are we talking forgeries or the Gabriel Barcelo School of Forgery?
Oh no, we're talking. I'm not exactly sure what you are referring to, actually, now that I'm thinking about that. Gabriel Barcelo, isn't he the cutthroat?
Cutthroat can't draw. That's the one.
Okay, so with can't draw, I can assume what you're referring to then. No. Apparently, there's been several very high value artifacts and paintings and the like that have turned up to be forgeries. So the collectors in Duskfall are all in an absolute frenzy looking for experts to validate their collections.
And you think I would be one such expert, I'm assuming?
Oh, no, I'm just telling you what I heard. I would dream of assuming anything like that. The reason I know specifically is one of those lesser nobles actually hired me to scare one of those quote-unquote experts into doing the work for free. He's shaking his head like it's the most ludicrous thing, and he kind of shifts uncomfortably.
Look, you're big and you're good at intimidating people. No one needs to know that the truth of that.
But still, I mean, why can't people just, hire somebody? I mean, rather than the rich.
How do you think they stay rich? By not paying people. It's lesson number one.
Yeah, I was gonna say the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Isn't that the saying?
Something to that extent, yes.
But I mean, if you are an expert in that type of work, then I mean that's certainly something that could be done. Say, not quite sure everything you're up to. I did hear about the goat race coming in second. Or at least the team that you're connected to coming in second.
Not bad, but talking to a few people, we're going in on a joint venture, so to speak.
You kind of size in at this point a Akarosi person, probably in their 30s, walks in. I have a message to deliver for Brolin Zephyr. Does anybody know where to find him? I was told this section of Six Towers was the best place to start my look.
I know Brolin. I'll see he gets it.
Unless you're Brolin, I'm not giving you this letter. I took an oath here.
Fine. Yes, I'm Brolin.
He nods and moves over and delivers the letter. Now, come on. I would assume you've been in the city long enough to know that everything that we do here at the Ciphers is completely confidential.
If I had a decent amount of coin on me, I would challenge that, but
many have tried. All have failed.
An honest civilian. You'll go far, and I'll read the note.
The note is very much the exact same as the Pale Lady received, signed by the letter K. Just letting you know to make your way to Crow's Foot. Slowly. Do not make haste, and take the long way.
And I'm going to return and pick up the drink. It's, well, Stavro, as always, a pleasure. But one that must end all too soon.
He nods, lifts his drink up, and he goes, I'm sure I'll see you around.
If you don't, probably means I'm dead.
That's the way it is in Duskfall. And with that, Brolin begins to make his way. So, all of you are... Oh, before I continue with that, Brolin, do you follow the instructions on the note?
Yeah, I'll go north through Six Towers, going ahead, and then west into Brightstone, and then down through Charter Hall and into Norrisfoot.
All right. So with that being said, we're going to move our way back to Ankh. As you arrive in Crow's Foot with Karinna still following, this would be probably... Let me make sure I just have this pulled up properly. Crow's Foot. This would be the dock near Strathmill House as you kind of pass it. She's like, once we go under the bridge, just pull your gondola up onto the shore there, and we will make the last stretch on foot. We'll make our way through Templeton Park and hit Flint Street and make our way there.
Got it. Yeah, he does exactly that. His caution has once again turned to curiosity as he shores his little vessel and escorts her wherever she's going.
You're at least aware of where the abandoned occult shop was and the room that Nathan directed you to. It does seem like she's heading directly that direction. She continues to speak as she moves forward. By my estimate, they have already hit the place, so that's good. As long as the others have received my message, they should be safe as well. I was unfortunately not able to get the whereabouts of Hestia or Nathan at this time, but hopefully their affairs kept them away.
Hopefully. Now, is this the time where you tell me who exactly is hitting our place?
As she makes the last few steps, she kind of goes, I mean, do I really have to? And she gestures towards the front door that is hanging off of one hinge. Very clearly it's been kicked in and is hanging from a single hinge. The lamp at your hip that every Duskfall person carries shines just bright enough for you to make out the sigil of a lamp painted in black upon the door.
No, I suppose not.
Footsteps are slowly heard on both the north and the south side of the street as Brolin and the Pale Lady both arrive. Karinna kind of looks over at both sides, and there is a sigh of relief that escapes her lips. Good, you guys got my message.
But then, Hey,
Here we are, an official summons, no less.
Well, and she's still in the midst of making the gesture as she says that towards the door, which would probably draw your attention, both of your attention to the door. So, I wanted to make sure that you guys did not arrive while this was going on. Wanted to make sure there was no blood on the ground, as it were.
why would there be blood?
You seem to have, I find my vocabulary here a little limited. You have pissed off the wrong people.
Seems to be about the goat races, from what she was telling me earlier.
She nods, collaborating that.
Someone owned them and now they're mad.
For a goat race?
I mean,
Uh,
we can stop beating around the bush. That's someone.
you can continue to beat around said bush for as long as you like. I've got a nasty feeling I know exactly who it is.
Well, that's what I was saying, is there's no reason to beat around the bush anymore. It's the Lampblacks that are not pleased with this.
At this point, Brolin is going to step back into like the shadows and just like look. And like said lantern is going out straight away.
She kind of nods as if it's acceptable for everybody to kill their lamps at this time. Does anybody else kill their lamp?
Yes, I do.
Why not?
We're not in much danger talking here. And she makes a gesture right across the street to the Red Sash Academy. We have a small measure of safety talking here. As I was filling Ankh in, I was hired to clean up the mess that they made, to make sure it couldn't be traced back to them. Obviously, I'm going to be scrubbing the place down to make it look like that I'm still working with them. I don't want to anger them too much at this moment. However, they have your number, and they are dead set on making things even. Or what they call even in their eyes.
They really need a hobby or something.
Oh, well, they're trying to get a hobby, and that's, control everything that's in this district. That's their hobby. Now, as I explained, I'm doing this for a specific reason. As I filled Ankh in, I personally find organs and the like somewhat detestable, and while I don't necessarily want to change my line of work, I want to change my clientele. I feel like that should you be able to help me out with this situation, finding a new line of work, or a new clientele, sorry, rephrase. This could be the start of a friendship between us. Because it certainly seems like you're in desperate need of friends at this moment. And she, again, gestures in the dark. You can barely make out her silhouette as she gestures at the occult shop. So, I will kind of leave you guys to discuss options and how you want to go about things. She produces... It seems like she produces a satchel from inside of her bodice and says, I have to get to work scrubbing the place of any sort of identifying marks of any of the Lampblacks should they have been nicked by a rusty nail or something of that nature. If they, doing my job. Obviously, if one of them somehow dropped a name badge, you hear a laugh come from her. I will produce that for you, but I have to then make sure that disappears. And her footsteps recede into the building. There's a slight echoing as you assume she's heading up the stairs. Her lamp illuminates the inside of the shop, leaving the three of you out front, alone, in the dark.
Well, I don't know if anyone else was expecting this, but I can't exactly say this is what I signed up for when I said I wanted to experience new things in this crew.
I think you've arrived just in time for the death rattle.
I was afraid as much. How bad would you classify this as? Because they seem pretty pissed.
Absolutely, and let's just say they and I have some unsettled frictions, unvoiced grievances. I think we do something enough to set ourselves up. And then if you want my honest recommendation, get out of Crowsfoot. Go off and find your said new experiences. The ones here will never be worth it.
Starting to get that idea. Do you have any ideas for this setup? Well, setting ourselves up?
I certainly do. Good friend of mine informs me that forgeries are currently something of a lucrative industry, and with that, anyone that's in possession of any kind of valued artwork is now on the search for experts to validate its creator, legitimacy.
So what's the play here? One of us poses as a said expert. You seem to be the most likely fit. You have the whole smart and sophisticated feel going on. It's best bet. No offense, pale lady. I don't mean to assume.
No,
This involves a little bit more. It's easy to walk into somewhere and say, I'm an expert here. It's much better if you sell the ruse. You make introductions. You come in as one of us comes in as something of an expert, introducing them to the others. You expand a web which we control, and then we validate. With one of us maybe even posing as the artists themselves.
We could have someone bring in a counterfeit that we could definitively debunk, increasing our status. steadfast promise.
Now, you're thinking like a con artist. There's one rule in this game. Promise them everything for nothing, and take from them everything, and deliver nothing.
You have just finished listening to this week's episode of Blades in the Dark, What Happens in the Dusk, part of the Domain Gaming, written and told by Wyverian and Livespark. A special thanks to you, the listener, and if you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcome. Until the next chapter, remember the first rule of a con. Offer them everything for nothing, and give them nothing for everything.